Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mommy Podcast. I am your host, Kelly Dinning. Today, we are talking about stepping back from your career. That is a big one. I mean, it's something that I didn't really anticipate of your stepping back from a career. What is that going to look like? What is that going to feel like day to day? Now, staying at home in a brand new environment, challenging myself with new tasks and abilities that I haven't learned before. I mean, some of them are innate, but a lot of them you are learning for the first time as a stay-at-home mom. And it's a very incredibly stressful job to have. I mean, a lot of us mothers that I talk to out there say, geez, I would prefer to go back to work for a couple of days a week because it's easier than this job that I have as a stay-at-home mom. And you don't really anticipate that going in, stepping back from your career. I mean, you have the optics of I'm stepping back from a job that I can associate with of, I go to work and, say you work in banking. So someone asks you, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a banker. And you have that right away answer. You have promotions, you have titles at work, you have public speaking events and things to look forward to. And you have people around you saying, hey, you're doing a great job and, good job on that project or that event. And when you are at home, you literally don't have that. It doesn't exist anymore. You have these little people around you that can't speak to you. You have no one over your shoulder saying you're doing a great job. You have your own thoughts in your mind. And when someone asks you, what do you do for a living? And you say, I'm on maternity leave or I'm a stay-at-home mom, it doesn't really get the same amount of respect that it should in society of where people say, I'm a neurosurgeon and people go, wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. Good for you. You save lives. And it should be the same reaction, honestly, when someone says, I'm a stay-at-home mom or I'm a mother, that's my career. Because as a mom, you're literally saving lives every day because little kids are like walking chaos. They have no concept of what danger is. And you're constantly worrying about choking or sticking fingers in sockets or walking across the street. Just as a mom, you get it. If you're listening to this, you are constantly doing those things and you are under so much stress and pressure day in and day out. And this is something that I wanted to look into when I was feeling this at home. I thought, wow, I'm actually finding that this job that I have right now as a mom is more stressful than the job that I had. The rigorous schedule. I mean, I looked forward to that schedule after becoming a mom where it was, hey, I enjoyed waking up at 5:30 every morning and being able to work out and then go to work and having my routine. Now, even if I wanted to work out at 5:30, A, I'm dead tired, and B, I'm probably going to be up at 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning because my little one needs something or is having a bad night. I mean, you have very little control over your schedule. So to bring some research into this, I found a study by a New York psychologist named Rick Hansen that said that 99% of professions in the world are less stressful than being a mother. Yes, 99% of professions in the world are less stressful than being a mother. And I mean, part of that blew my mind. I heard that and went, that's unbelievable. But then the other half of me went, oh, no, that's very believable. I get that. I 100% think this man is brilliant because it's true. I mean, part of his study said you are living in a highly dysregulated environment as a mother. You, A, are dealing with hormones. You're dealing with domestic chores and managing a household and laundry and dishes and groceries and all those things. And you're dealing with constantly getting interrupted. You're dealing with no routine. So you have very little sleep. You have very little me time, if any me time. You are under a whole lot of pressure from these little people that are around you all the time. And you're doing all of this while feeling very fatigued. I mean, especially in the early months, in the early years, you are just trying to stay afloat with these little kids and be a happy, healthy person, a good partner, a good sister, a good daughter, all of those different things in your life. And you're working one of the most stressful jobs. And this is not to say that, being a police officer is not as important. It has nothing to do with importance. It has to do with stress. I mean, at a job, if you are a police officer, for example, you're going to work. You're dealing in stress. You're probably at a chaotic environment. Maybe you've had one of the most insane, stressful events at work, but then you get to go home and you get to have a cup of tea and relax and think about it and, maybe journal it out and maybe have some mental time to decompress. And as a mother, you literally never have that. I mean, you don't even have time to go to the bathroom by yourself. If you're a mom, you know what I mean. You have someone just rattling at the door handle, or you have little fingers sliding underneath, or screaming because they're not in there while you're trying to go pee in 5 seconds. You literally have no time for yourself. And so you never get that time to decompress. And it would be beautiful and glorious if you could sleep at nighttime and have that peaceful, maybe like 6-hour stretch to decompress. But as a mom, I mean, you don't get that. Even when your kids are little, it's all over the place. And then I'm sure it gets better. I mean, I have 2 under 2 right now, and my sleep has been all out of whack since pregnancy. So I'm going on 3 years of just all over the map sleep. Now, it sounds like the worst career ever, the way that I just explained that of, you're jumping into this insanely stressful job, this insanely stressful career. And I mean, what I just said basically sounds like you're a zookeeper. And it doesn't sound appealing, but there are things to that you have to look forward to as well. I mean, you're stepping into adventure, you're stepping into excitement and learning and experiencing what it's like to be a child and have that wonder. I find a lot of the time when I'm with my kids and they're learning something or they're discovering something for the first time, it's like I'm reliving my childhood in those years that I wouldn't necessarily remember, if that makes sense. So you get all of these experiences that are so special when you are at home. And I mean, if you can look through the stress of the moments that you're in and be able to step out of that sometimes and see that, it is really a special time. One thing to look forward to if you are a stay-at-home mom, if you have a bad day, it's different than if you have a bad day at the office. If you had a bad day at the office, people will eventually forget about it. I mean, 4 months down the road, heck, 30 days down the road, people forget about this catastrophic day that you had at the office. But if you have a bad day at home as a mom, you have witnesses that are going to be with you for life. So if your kids do something crazy and wild, they can remind you of it. And you guys can all have a laugh about it in 20 years when they're saying, yeah, Mom, do you remember that time when we flushed something down the toilet and backed up the water and flooded the main floor? Wasn't that amazing? Wasn't that so funny? I mean, that kind of stuff you get to look forward to. If you have these little witnesses for life, hopefully it's not something bad like that, but you do have those memories and those little witnesses that can bring that back up to your attention in the years that you're going to start forgetting about it after 20 years of cumulative motherhood and going through life. So one thing about that though is when you are staying at home and you are living in this mega stressful career, you are finding joy in whole new ways. And I mean, I used to find joy through my career of when I did a huge project or I spoke in front of 50 people or 100 people, I would find a lot of joy and confidence in that. And I'm finding joy and confidence in a whole new way. Teaching my oldest how to brush her teeth and watching her brush her teeth and rinse her mouth out or even wash her hands in the sink and learn how to use the potty. I am finding so much confidence in that because I am proving to myself that I actually know how to teach and I know how to model behavior to a little person and help them throughout their life as they're learning these things. Part of that is wildly exciting and super rewarding. And a lot of the time you feel like a zookeeper. Like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I do go to the zoo a lot with my kids and I find it so entertaining, unbelievably entertaining to watch the people that are keeping the animals at the zoo and watching them chase them around or walk in with a tray because they have to weigh the monkeys and the monkeys are pulling their hair and yanking at stuff and pulling their little walkie-talkies off their waist. And I'm thinking, yeah, like literally that was me this morning with my kids, grabbing a milk jug off the counter that they can't lift and exploding it all over the floor. And you're living in a very similar environment. So if you're looking for some camaraderie, just go to the zoo. So to get into another study, there was a study out of the UK that stated that motherhood was equivalent to working 2.5 full-time jobs. I mean, I read that and it blew my mind. Part of it didn't though. Part of it, I was like, I mean, that's like 3.5 jobs, but I get it. 2.5 full-time jobs. And that's equating to a 98-hour work week, assuming a full 7 to 8 hours of sleep at nighttime, which us new moms know that is not I guarantee you may have one good sleeper in the family, but then your next baby comes around and they are not a good sleeper, or vice versa. And it seems like every time someone is just rocking their sleep schedule, the other one is completely missing the mark. So I want you to think about that and resonate on that for a second. You're staying at home. You are working incredibly hard. You are doing the equivalent to 2.5 full-time jobs. Maybe you had that before, and kudos to you, but I mean, I didn't. I'm stepping into this from one full-time job before that, and I find it, insanely stressful to have 2.5 full-time jobs, no sleep, dysregulated environment, hormones all over the place, everything else on top of that. But I am finding that it's very rewarding. Looking at the mom to looking at the me now, the me version had a lot of confidence in my job. I took a lot of confidence from when someone would tell me, hey, you're doing a great job, or you really rocked that project and you made the company a lot of money. And now I'm finding the mom version of me gets so much more confidence from myself, from saying to myself, having that talk of, you're kicking butt. This kid is alive and they're healthy and they're growing and thriving. And it's because of me. And I'm not taking all the credit. I mean, most parents are working in a team, but as the mother, you are staying home and you are taking a lot of that burden because the responsibility relies on the mother. So the mom versus the me version prior is the way hotter version. I mean, the crazy hot version. Crazy, that adds up. That makes sense as a new mom. You've got hormones and sleep on your side. And the hot version, you're sweating all the time. So it literally makes sense. But in all seriousness, I feel a new confidence. I feel I can give myself the reward of I'm doing a brilliant job at home with these kids. And it helps too. Just a little advice to moms out there. When your kid is screaming at you or when your toddler is giving you that death stare, next time they're doing that, just imagine that they're saying, Mom, I love you. You're the most brilliant, amazing, beautiful thing ever. And thank you for everything you've done for me today and the last many years of my life. I do that with my kids. And I look at them with so much more appreciation because I think, oh, thank you so much for that. Even though you can't say it, I'm just imagining that you are feeling it. Maybe you don't have the words and maybe you'll never have the words, but it does definitely help make hard days better by just throwing that in there. So try that next time when you're getting the toddler stare or if, stuff is hitting the fan, it definitely helps. So to sum that up, if you are stepping back from a career, maybe it is temporary, maybe you are going back to a career after you've had your babies and you're done your maternity leave. I just wanted to say that with the research that I've read and everything I've seen, you are setting yourself up to be a much more capable version of yourself than you ever were before being a mother. Now you are able to time manage like there is no tomorrow. You are a multitasking magician. As a mom, you have to be with these kids. You are going to go back to work, and if you have a stressful day, you will feel like it is nothing compared to life at home as a mother. And I'm speaking from experience of young kids, and I'm sure that doesn't change. There are going to be so many new phases and moments in life as they grow. So if you are going back, you're setting yourself up better. If you're never going back, you are becoming more in your day-to-day life. You are becoming that strategic time manager, that multitasker that's going to carry you through with the rest of your life. And it is something that is appreciated in the workforce. I have heard this before in an interview. A woman in racing in management said, I only look mainly to hire mothers because they have an ability to manage stress, to manage time, and to manage many things all at the same time without even breaking a smile or a sweat. They can just get it done. And I know that if I ask them to do something, it will be done based on their prior experience of being a mom. It is a universal standard that if you've raised kids, you are an assassin coming back into the workforce. So just know that. I mean, if you're staying at home with your little kids and you're having these stressful days and you've stepped back from this maker career and you're maybe not feeling like it's as appreciated at home. I mean, I can kind of tell you it's super not appreciated by a lot of people, and it's not appreciated by your little audience of people that you're taking care of. But you can look in the mirror, you can share that with your partner and your parents, that yes, it is appreciated. It's something that you are appreciating probably now that your parents did for you, and something that your kids will hopefully appreciate when they become parents one day. You're teaching them all of these life skills and all of these amazing abilities to go out there into the world and be incredible, and have all of these little bits and bobs of you to go out there into the world and be incredible, and have all of these little bits and bobs of you in their day-to-day. And that is so special and so rewarding. So if you're at home and you're listening to this podcast, I mean, kudos to you, mama. You found time to do something for you, and that's amazing. You're listening to a podcast. I love that. So keep it up. Know that you're doing an incredible job. You are so needed. You are so important to those little people. You are so loved. And I hope you go out there and don't just have a good day. Go out there and have your absolute best day as a mom. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.